Hi! In this video I'm going to be talking about the transition from studying maths at GCSE to studying maths at A-level. From studying maths at university, I have an idea of how the subject changes from, year 7 maths all the way up to master's level. In this video series, I'm going to make a playlist. I will be discussing the changes at each step, but this video is focused on the GCSE to A-level jump, which honestly is one of the most drastic changes you will do across the kind of whole spectrum of learning. So in this video, the first thing I'm going to talk through is the workload, then the control, then difficulty/support that you can access, then assessments, and then kind of a final comment section. So let's begin with workload. When you're doing your GCSEs, you're standardly at school from 9 AM till 3 PM. You may have some breaks here and there, but it's not unusual to have 6 hours a day and a little over 32 hours across the week. Obviously that might be a little bit different depending on what school you're at, but on top of that you might have to do anywhere between 0 hours and 2 hours of homework a night. At A-level you will most likely be in your school for the same amount of time, but normally they have these things called free sessions to work on tasks assigned by your teachers. I think that the workload that you're doing per individual subject definitely increases, because instead of doing 10 GCSE topics and having a variety, maybe you're doing geography, history, art, a foreign language, you're only doing 3 or in some cases 4 A-levels. However, the amount of work total that you do across all your studying will stay about the same in my opinion. So if you're someone who likes variety, picking A-levels which activate your brain in different ways can be a good idea and can also make it feel less overwhelming. If you have 3 subjects that are all very similar, for example maybe English, history, and another humanity, what you might find is you spend all your time writing and you get a little bit burnt out. I think it's good to have maximum 2 A-levels that are similar, and then one that's a little bit different so that you can have that variety back. When it comes to how much control you have of your learning, every task that you do at GCSE is selected by your teachers, is kind of curated by whatever teachers that you've got at the school. They've probably got together, they've gone, okay, this is a good lesson plan, that's not such a good lesson plan, and you'll have a very small amount of time to spend on your own studying, which is normally going to be revision period right before your GCSE final exams. This does change at A-level, and depending on where you are, you'll probably find that your 30 hours at 6th form, about 10 hours will become independent study, self-study sessions. This could be maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. And at this level you will be doing definitely additional work on home to top it up. If you use your study periods fully, you might be able to do no work at home, but normally you're going to expect to do maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a night just to keep on top of the workload. You might have, depending on what A-level, you might have other courseworks that you've got to keep on top of. A-level maths standardly doesn't have courseworks, but you will have a lot of, exercises to do compared to at GCSE. You'll definitely feel, an uplift in how much work you're doing at home. The content that you're learning is definitely more difficult. The jump between GCSE and A-level is the first jump you're going to experience in difficulty, and I think that one of the reasons it is so difficult at first is because every other time that something becomes difficult, the exams have been kind of far out of the window. So think about when you go from primary school to year 7. You're not worried about exams, you're just worried about, can I do the thing? And that pressure is not there. I think with A-level, because you go from, having year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to kind of feed into exams to, okay, my exam's going to be, in a year or in 2 years, that kind of upping of pressure can help make it feel more difficult at first, because you worry if you can't do it immediately, that's a problem. Whereas at GCSE you had a lot more time to, grasp a concept. It's also possible that GCSE level maths didn't show you any topics which you found conceptually challenging. I know this varies from person to person, but the aim of GCSE maths is to provide everyone with the skill set that they need in the real world, even if people joke that they never used it. Understanding percentages is important for interest rates, geometry is important for measuring carpet, or if you're doing anything at home. Statistics are important when politicians or health experts quote something to you. The purpose of A-level maths is to test you on some of the things that exam board has decided are integral parts of mathematics. Honestly, from my perspective of, going on to do maths at uni, it's kind of random which sections they pick, but I'll get onto that more in, the A-level to university video that I'm going to do. So the way that I think this was AQA's specification broke it down was at GCSE you do number, algebra, ratio, proportion, rates of change, geometry and measures, probability, and statistics. So all of these things are quite intuitive concepts. At A-level, some of the topics, they're already more complicated words that you might need to, look up the definitions for, and they're not as commonly used. It might also be that at GCSE, your parents or your carers were able to help you. A-level, you might feel like they don't know what's going on if they've not done it. So, all of these different things, you can master one of them or master all of them at various speeds, but it does take a little bit of time, and each of those concepts takes, you could kind of think about it like all of those A-level topics are about the same amount of content as one maths GCSE. But I don't know whether that tracks the two or out the right amount, but there's one way you could think of it. So going on to support. Support at GCSE is going to vary drastically from school to school and home life to home life. And the same is true for A-level. You're very much by the look of the drawer of wherever you've been put in your life circumstances. However, when you're learning at both these levels, what happens is the teacher very heavily guides your learning, presents tasks for you to do to understand the topic. So if you engage with what's being given to you, you will feel successful, you will achieve your successes. If you're disengaged or you're not doing the work that they set, it's very easy to struggle. Again, like I mentioned, parents and carers may no longer be able to help you at A-level. It might have gone beyond their grasp, but I know many people have parents and carers who couldn't help them at GCSE. I think A-level is one of the times where a lot of people start looking to a private tuition if they're looking to get the very top grades. But yeah, the main difference in your kind of average support is you're going to have that self-study time where your teacher is going to just trust that you're going to continue with that work without the supervision, and that's one of them. The assessment style is actually very, very similar. There's a lot of factors going into exams, but I think GCSEs are stressful because they're your first time, trying that exam environment. It's the first time that, the test is final and it is what it is. But A-levels tend to be more anxiety-inducing due to the pressure to get into university or pressure to get into your apprenticeship. There always seems to be a lot riding on A-levels, and I think it's also a time in, so you might do A-levels at an older age, but if you're kind of in that 16 to 18 bracket, it's a very complicated time. You might be worried about moving away for uni, you might not want to do those things, and I think because of all of those other factors going into it, A-level exams are the worst. The most difficult thing about these exams, in my opinion, is the examiners arbitrarily require you to have certain things memorized. Certain techniques you need to have memorized, this set of steps, this set of things. And I think often A-level maths is a memory test, or you don't have the same critical thinking that's required once you get to, university maths. And at the same time, at GCSE, because a lot of the problems, sure, you could think about it as memorizing methods, but at GCSE, the only thing that you might have to think about memorizing is the simultaneous equations and how to solve them. Everything else is, you need to do so much practice that it's just ingrained and is an intuitive process for you. How they assess you, you have to just go with the flow. Try and do your best. These exams are just going to be more challenging in the sense that the methods you need to understand compared to GCSE, there's a lot more of them, a lot more variety, and they are going to be more difficult. And also, you may not have the time to spend understanding them to the fullest level like you might have done at GCSE. So getting to A-levels from GCSEs is normally not a progression that people worry about too much. With GCSEs, you obviously want to do your best and achieve good grades, but with A-levels, there is the added pressure to get the right grades, to get into university, get into an apprenticeship, and I think what that means, people who weren't necessarily that grade-focused or that grade-orientated can become it, at A-level because, you know, they've got these goals they want to pursue. With both of these levels of mathematics, you have somewhat of a luck of the draw chance of success. If your teachers are bad, or not bad but overworked, you will feel that impact. For GCSE maths, you need to be successful when revising, going through all the past papers you have access to, and just keep getting better at it each time. For A-level, keep trying to get each of those methods that you can use in your mind, and the best way again is keep practicing questions just until it sticks. The more prep you do before your exams, the easier you're going to find those exams, and that's just consistent from GCSE to A-level. The jump isn't something you need to be afraid of, just aware of. I think there's a lot of doom and gloom surrounding the jump. It is definitely difficult, and it's definitely a change, but it's a good change. You're learning more maths, you have more maths that you can enjoy, and you're getting to feel a different kind of challenge. I hope that this helped you understand the difference between GCSE and A-level mathematics. If you want to know the same thing for physics, I'm going to make another video, and if you're interested in the transition to university, I'm going to make one on that too. Like and subscribe. Goodbye!